Good morning, everybody. We're back at it. This is a 2008 Mercedes SL550. Got it at Copart, suspected blown head gasket. However, today I'm actually kind of excited to tell you I am starting to rule out the head gasket theory. Somebody on the forums, the Mercedes-Benz World forum, actually had the exact same symptoms as I had. He described the situation perfectly. Ended up being he just needed to get it up to operating temperature and it just went away. So I am hoping I can start to rule out the blown head gasket theory. But today I am going to be diagnosing, I'm going to be reading all the codes that the car is throwing. I'm going to be figuring out what the electrical problem is. I'm suspecting that there may be some blown fuses because the guy was running an aftermarket sound system in here. Or another guy on the forum said there's a thing called a pyro fuse that goes on the battery that controls all the convenience and stuff. What if the pyro fuse is blown? The battery checked out last night, but it could just be a fuse that's blown that's not letting the car get power from that battery. The windows, I'll just fix that later. First off though, I'm gonna get this stupid thing put back up. This is so freaking annoying. I do have a new code reader coming to read the codes. I know how to do it with the phone. I have the wireless OBD2 scanners. So actually, while I'm waiting for that, maybe I'll just give this car a fresh wash because this thing's dusty and dirty. Inside too, I think I might, it's definitely dusty in there. Unfortunately, I can't move it out of the garage because we couldn't get it back in. So I'll just use some waterless wash and we should be good. So let me just do that really quick. I like how we're just like killing time now, waiting for the OBD2 scanner. I also bought a shop heater that should be here soon. It's like 40 degrees up in here again. But I figured I'd just do the old-fashioned method. If I'm getting cold, I just do some jumping jacks or push-ups or something, lift some weights. Who even knows? That's my plan though. Next, don't give it to Dang, dude, this thing cleaned up. This waterless wash stuff is actually pretty cool. It feels like you just freshly waxed the car too, like frickin' dang, look at that. I'm curious if washing it actually fixed my electrical problem. Just washing it fixed all my problems, dude. No, I don't think it did. I guess I'm gonna have to use the new code reader I just got in the mail literally 5 minutes ago. You guys ready for the way overdone YouTuber snap to make something appear from a package? Wow. You know what I actually forgot to do is clean the interior. You guys can see how dirty at least the door, this all just has a thin layer of something on it. A couple things I did learn is that seat actually works fine. I think these buttons, these are automatic buttons that make the whole seat go forward so you can access the back. I think the convenience function, since they're disabled, don't allow these to work on the seat, but all the motors to actually move the seat however you want it work fine. And it just looks so much cleaner in here now. I was just cleaning this up so that we could get onto the important stuff. So our next task definitely is to diagnose what's actually wrong with this car. Hopefully it's not too much. Again, I am hoping to rule out the head gasket leak. But to do that, I definitely need to check the oil. I need to check the levels of all the fluids and whatnot. I need to pop the trunk definitely and see if the battery in here is bad or what, or just what's going on with that. If the battery ran dead at any point, it could be damaged as well. Even if it is holding a charge right now, it could also not be putting out enough power to actually power the interior. When the engine's running, I don't think I've ever had it shut off on me when the engine's running. It's just when you're sitting in the car, right when you get in, before the key is even in the dash, there's nothing works. All right, well, we might as well just start off by checking the oil and the coolant. At least make sure there's enough in there. But this is the moment of truth. If there is a blown head gasket, chances are there's oil on this cap that looks a little bit suspicious. There's a chain and there's normal oil. It looks normal, everybody. There's a place that actually diagnoses oil. You send them a sample, I think it's called Blackstone Labs, and actually put some of that oil in, send it off, and see what the actual health of this engine is. I think that would be a great thing to do with such a mysterious car like this. All right, so this looks like the coolant here. Hey, how about that, dude? The coolant is full. It's pretty much full, dude. This is eliminating a lot of the things that I've really been crossing my fingers with. All right, so here's the trunk. Had the broken fender liner in it. Also has the grill, and it has the speaker wires, what I think these are, just speaker wires. All right, so the cabin battery is under here. So this right here is one of those fancy batteries where it has 2 positive terminals, doesn't even have a negative. It's just a really fancy, really high-end Mercedes battery. So it looks like the battery was replaced in October of 2018. So it's still a fairly new battery and it looks brand new. So I went ahead and just tested the front battery with the battery tester I just got for free at Harbor Freight. How about that? And the battery tester said that the front battery was in great shape. So I went ahead and just moved on to the consumer battery, Mercedes-Benz calls it, and the battery tester didn't even register it. So I pulled out the multimeter thinking maybe there was a fault with the free battery tester I just got, and the multimeter was registering it at 0.65 volts. So completely dead, which was strange because 2 days earlier, Kurt tested it and it was reading 12 volts. But thinking back on it, we had actually just had the car started and running for a second. And so there may have been a surface charge on it. So I'm gonna start the car. I'm gonna see if this stuff is actually working correctly. I'm gonna start the car, and if the alternator's good, of course, it'll jump this battery up to a decent voltage. And I'll check the front one. It should be running about 14 volts or so if the motor is running. And this is the first start after suspecting a blown head gasket. So let's cross our fingers, hope it goes smoothly. All right, it's blowing some, that's probably just steam. Yeah, it smells just like exhaust. I think we're good. Alternator's good. Alternator's good. It's reading, it's just a dead battery. While there's still a surface charge on the battery, let me test it again. I turned the headlights on to remove any surface charge that I can from this battery. I can probably watch this go down on the multimeter. Yeah, it's going down quick. Once I get a new battery in there, tomorrow, I will be able to read codes tomorrow, so we'll take care of that. And then I will jump in with the scanner. We will read all the codes that it's throwing. We'll clear the codes and see what ones actually pop back up. And then we're actually on to diagnosing why the car won't rev and any other problems it says we have. Also, I just want to say it's such a pleasure and an honor for me to be working on. I know it's an old car, but it's a nice car. It's a nice day for a good look at the scam car. How about that? So let's pull the trunk liner out and just say the magic words. Out with the old and in with, oh frick, okay, never mind. The new battery's installed and I really wish I was rolling, a couple minutes ago because I opened that door. We have power and the car looks like it's working just fine. The remote works again, but I opened that door to see if the dash lights were on, alarm went off, and it was the loudest thing in the freaking world because we're in an enclosed space and that was so loud. I just hope my neighbors don't think I stole this thing since there's no plates on it and everything. So if I push the unlock button on the remote, now that we figured out that there's a dead battery in the trunk and we changed that and it's working now, I'm gonna pull some codes on this thing. I just got this handy dandy little code reader here and hopefully that does the trick. All right, well I just took a little siesta trying to figure out some stuff and I just replaced the key fob batteries, and check this out guys, this is pretty sweet. I just locked it. Look at that, look at that. It unlocks and something happens over here. Sounds like the brakes. Sounds like the brakes. I just read in the owner's manual too that brakes actually do like prime or whatever. The hydraulic system kicks online when it's unlocked. Ooh. Here's me crossing my fingers and it's nothing bad. Generic P0025. Camshaft position timing over retarded bank 2. That's what it says. Generic P2122. Throttle sensor switch D circuit low. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna erase codes. All right, so I cleared the codes. Now this is the only one that reads. I restarted the car, restarted this device, and this is the only one it reads. It's P2122, generic, throttle pedal position sensor switch D circuit low. Looks like the check engine light is off, guys. By all means, if I push the gas, it should rev a little bit. No, it doesn't do anything still. I think I might just let it run for a second. Guys, I just had an epiphany. It's probably not even in limp mode right now. It's probably just the throttle position's not being read, so it's not putting any signal to the engine to rev and whatnot. That would explain why it goes into gear just fine and it idles and everything, but every time you push the throttle, it doesn't sense it and it doesn't give it any gas. So I'm thinking the throttle position sensor, I'll look into it right now, read the code and what that actually means. Maybe just needs to be replaced and we're on the road besides the bumper fix. I'm actually getting very excited now. It runs very smoothly. Guys, I may have made a good purchase. How about that? How about that? I think I found the problem. I can't really tell how that looks, but it probably looks pretty bad. All right, I just disconnected the connector and plugged it back in, kind of like spun it and plugged it back in. So let's see what it does. Still does not work. Yeah, that's hot. That's hot. All right, so now that I know basically what's wrong, like why it's not working with the throttle and whatnot, I'm gonna jump into fuses and checking those because I have a suspicion that there's no proof that there's a fuse that has blown yet, but I'm not gonna bore you guys to death. That's like the least sexy thing on earth is checking fuses. But check this out, dude. I found a life hack right now. You can actually put a light through the car. I have not yet done this, so let's see if it works. It's light, it lit up. Oh, dude, it works. Plot twist, I didn't actually check any fuses. You guys can see I actually pulled the throttle pedal and throttle position sensor is suspicious. I don't really know how this works. I'm gonna see if I can clean it or something and see if it'll read a little bit better. I'm not sure what the problem is at this point, but I'm just trying to figure it out and it took me like 2 minutes literally to get this off, so. That's a negative Ranger. A little bit more complicated to get out than I expected. So I may just buy a whole new throttle pedal. But I'm gonna I blew this one out as best I could with some compressed air, and we'll see if it changed anything. I really doubt it will. I'm thinking I'm just gonna need a new pedal. The wires for this look wonderful. I mean, there's no tears, there's nothing loose, nothing. But more diagnosing coming soon. It's a new morning. Good morning, guys. It's a nice day. All right, so last night we had some pretty good discoveries. My wife, I took her out here now that it's all cleaned up and she's kind of starting to now appreciate this car a little bit more. But we tested a lot of different things in this car. I'll show you in just a bit, but I did get the throttle pedal ordered last night as well. So it's supposed to be here in it says 2 weeks. I don't think that's the case. I think they're gonna ship it out and it's gonna get here this coming week. It's New Year's Day today. So happy New Year's, guys. I hope this year you guys go out and freaking destroy it. I'll be over here chasing my goals. I hope you guys are over there chasing your goals and just making your life better 1 year at a time. But today, let me show you guys a couple little cool things that we found out yesterday. The battery basically fixed the entire freaking car. So I'll put the key in the ignition. The windows, I thought they were broken, but they work just fine. I just didn't know how to operate them. So when you're rolling the windows down, you actually have to roll this one down completely first, and you push it again and it rolls the back one down. And when you're pulling the window back up, this one comes up first, and then you pull it again and the rear one comes up. I didn't know that. I thought the window was broken because when I was pulling it back up, I expected them both to come up at the same time, but they don't. I mean, that's just how the car works. And I didn't know that. We also did find out that the roll bar works just fine too. Check this out. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put it back up. And the seats, they all work fine. All of the electronics that we have tested so far work completely fine. So I'm super excited. I just can't wait to get this hard top to like freaking go in the trunk. That is like goals right there. I'm trying to work my way up to it when this thing is basically all done and I have it outside for the first time, the engine's running and throttle and everything works fine. I'm gonna reward myself just by putting the top down and seeing it for the first time. I really doubt it's broken. I bet you that the people didn't even have the top down like ever. I bet you it opened in its lifetime maybe a couple hundred times. Anyway, that's just speculation, and we did also confirm that the radio in here does not, I mean, it just plays through these little tweeters up here. All the other speakers don't work in the car, so I'm gonna have to figure out wiring with that. So that's gonna be the most fun thing I have ever done in my life. But today I am going to start with, one of the headlights is out in front, and until parts get here, by the way, I can't really work on much else. So I'm gonna start some cosmetic stuff. So the headlight that keeps flickering, I don't know if that's the bulb going out or if it's a wiring thing that's going out. I kind of messed with it a little bit and it still flickers. So I'm gonna go ahead and just switch the bulbs left to right and see if it's the bulb or if it's the actual light. We'll have to see. So I'll switch that out really quick and we'll just get to it. All right, well, I was able to confirm the high beams actually weren't coming on at all. It wasn't the headlight that was flashing. There's actually little DRLs in there, little daytime running lights. Right there, you guys can see the little T10 LED bulbs. All right, I switched the bulbs out and I have confirmed that it is definitely a wiring problem. So if I unlock it, you guys can see here, this one runs just fine, and that's the one that used to be over here, but this one you can still see is just kind of blinking. Yeah, so it's a wiring problem, and there's so much exposed wiring down here that I expect it to be a wiring problem. But what I might even end up doing, just at least for now, is just take the two T10 bulbs out of there. I mean, the car will look normal without them. It would look cool to keep them, but if I have a wiring problem over there that I can't fix, then just take the bulbs out and it's an easy fix. All right, I actually decided I'm gonna be converting the high beams to LED. I mean, there's no reason not to. So I got some fresh ones arriving Monday, so that's like 3 days from now. It's the weekend right now. But what I'm gonna do in the meantime is I'm not gonna mess with the wiring and whatnot until I convert it to LED, since I'll be in there anyway. I am going to give this engine bay a fresh detail. I honestly don't know what to use to clean engine bays. I'm assuming just normal auto detailer, but maybe I'll just grab a spray bottle with some soapy water and get to it. All right, well, it's not perfect, but hey, it's a lot better than it was. Not too bad for just a rag and some soapy water. All right, and with that done, the last couple things I have to do on this car really before it's on the road is fix the bumper right there and get the throttle position sensor worked out. I do have a new throttle coming for it. But that is an easy swap. I'm hoping it's just the throttle. I have a full unit coming for it that I'll swap out and see if it fixes it. If not, we'll diagnose further, and it's really not that hard of a thing to do, but I think it is the throttle. I did look at the wires and they all looked great. So that is still to come, and really those two things, front bumper and that, is the last thing, literally, that I need to get this thing on the road, besides paperwork, of course. And more, I'm starting to love this car. It just is so cool, dude. I love this thing. All right, well, it's been a couple good days of wrenching on this thing, figuring out its issues and solving like 95% of them, which I'm super excited about. I did forget that I also need to vinyl wrap this black. I know there's a little trim piece that's supposed to stick on there, double-sided adhesive, but it probably would cost me like $200, so I'm just gonna gloss black vinyl wrap it. It'll look the exact same. But besides that, and figuring out the throttle position sensor and getting the front bumper fixed, this thing is basically on the road. I think the ESP light as well that's on is also linked to the throttle position sensor. I do have parts on the way, and once they come in, we'll get back at this thing. I might start pulling the front bumper off here today as well. But that's definitely in the next video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. I know cars are kind of new to the channel still, but it's something I really love, so it's something I'm doing. And I'm honestly falling in love with this car. It is such a nice car. I know it doesn't come through on camera nearly as well, but this thing just is a nice car. And this is one of the cars I wanted for so many years. But anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.